The wind above Musutafu was quiet. Too quiet. Goku stood unseen on the roof across from Izuku Midoriya and All Might, his body half hidden behind the concrete wall of a rooftop access shed. He had lowered his energy as far as he could, keeping his breathing calm, keeping his presence small. But his eyes were sharp. He had heard everything. All Might's true form stood in the open now, thin, wounded, exhausted, and nothing like the shining giant the city worshipped. His clothes hung loosely on his frame. His face looked tired in a way that strength alone could never fix. Izuku stared at him, frozen between shock and heartbreak. You cannot become a hero without a quirk. The words hung in the air. Goku's hand tightened slightly. He said nothing. Not yet. All Might did not speak cruelly. Goku could tell that. The man's voice carried pain, not mockery. He sounded like someone trying to protect a child from stepping into a battlefield without armor. But the words still landed like a door closing. Izuku's shoulders dropped. The notebook in his hand shook. For a moment, he looked smaller than before. Goku's jaw tightened. He remembered children asking impossible questions before. He remembered Gohan, small and scared at first, becoming stronger because he had people who believed he could grow. He remembered Goten learning through laughter. He remembered Videl, a human with no Saiyan blood, learning to sense ki and fly because Gohan had shown her that power was not only something you were born with. He remembered Master Roshi. Old, strange, ridiculous Master Roshi, who had trained a wild boy with a tail and no idea how big the universe really was. Goku looked at Izuku. That's not right, he whispered. All Might turned away. I am sorry, he said, voice low. But dreams must be realistic. A hero's work is life and death. Without power, you will only get yourself killed. Izuku did not answer. His mouth opened, but no words came out. All Might stepped toward the rooftop door. Smoke still drifted faintly from his body. His time in hero form had already ended. He was tired, he was guilty, but he walked away anyway, because sometimes adults convince themselves that hard truth was kinder than dangerous hope. Goku watched him leave. He did not stop him. The door closed. Izuku stood alone. Above the city, the sun began to lower. For several seconds, only the wind spoke. Then Izuku lowered his head. His fingers curled around his notebook until the paper bent. I knew it, he whispered. Goku heard him. Even from across the rooftop, he heard him clearly. I knew it, but I still asked. Izuku laughed weakly, but it was not a happy sound. I'm quirkless. Of course I can't. His voice broke. Goku stepped forward. The movement was soft, but Izuku still flinched. Who's there? Goku walked out from behind the rooftop structure, orange gi moving in the wind. His expression was calm, but there was something heavy behind his eyes. Izuku stared at him. For one confused second, his brain tried to categorize what he was seeing. Orange martial arts uniform, blue undershirt, spiky black hair, no hero costume, no visible support gear, no agency logo, no UA badge. And somehow, the stranger had appeared on a rooftop without using the door. Izuku stumbled back. Who are you? Are you a hero? Goku scratched his cheek. Not exactly. Izuku's eyes widened further. Then are you a villain? No. Goku smiled a little. Definitely not. That's what a villain would say. Goku blinked. Then he laughed. Yeah, I guess that's true. Izuku looked around desperately, as if searching for a way down. His legs still trembled from what had happened earlier, and now another impossible person had appeared out of nowhere. Goku raised both hands gently. Relax. I'm not here to hurt you. Izuku swallowed. Then, why are you here? Goku looked toward the rooftop door All Might had used. I heard what he said. Izuku froze. The color drained from his face. You heard? All of it? Yeah. Izuku looked down. Shame rushed over him so strongly that Goku could almost feel it like heat. I'm sorry, Izuku said quickly. I didn't mean to bother All Might. I know it was stupid. It wasn't stupid. Izuku stopped. Goku's voice had changed. It was still simple, still kind, but there was no hesitation in it. Izuku slowly lifted his head. Goku walked closer and crouched slightly so he was closer to Izuku's eye level. You asked if you could become strong enough to save people, right? Izuku's lips trembled. I asked if I could be a hero. Same thing, isn't it? Izuku did not answer. Goku tilted his head. Maybe not in this world. The sentence confused Izuku more than anything else. This world? Goku stood up and looked over the city. I'm still figuring that part out. Before Izuku could ask what that meant, a distant explosion shook the air. Both of them turned. A pillar of smoke rose from another part of the city. Sirens screamed. People shouted far below. Izuku's eyes widened in horror. That's near the shopping district. Goku focused. His senses stretched outward. There it was again, the Sludge Villain, and another energy trapped inside it. Explosive, bright, furious. A boy. Izuku's body moved before his mind caught up. Kachan, Goku looked at him. You know who's there? Izuku's face went pale. My childhood friend, Bakugo. He has an explosion quirk. If that villain has him, then... He ran, not away from danger, toward it. Goku watched him rush to the roof's edge, looking for stairs, breathing hard, panicked and terrified. No power, no plan, no chance, but he was moving. Goku smiled, but this time it was not playful. That's what I thought. He stepped beside Izuku. Izuku turned. I have to go. I know I can't do anything, but I stop. Goku placed 2 fingers on Izuku's shoulder. The world blinked. Izuku screamed. The rooftop disappeared. The next second, his shoes hit pavement. He staggered forward and nearly fell, grabbing a street sign to keep himself upright. What just happened? Goku stood beside him. Moved. That wasn't moving. It's a technique. Izuku's mind almost shattered from the lack of explanation, but the chaos in front of him pulled his attention back. The street was blocked by crowds, police, and pro-heroes. The Sludge Villain had grown larger than before, stretched across the road like a living swamp. Its body wrapped around Katsuki Bakugo, forcing itself over his mouth and shoulders. Explosions burst from inside the slime, but they only made steam and scattered pieces that reformed seconds later. Bakugo's eyes were wild with rage. He was fighting. But he was trapped. Heroes stood around the scene, hesitating. One hero could not attack without hitting the hostage. Another lacked the right quirk. Another waited for backup. The crowd shouted. Cameras recorded. Smoke filled the road. Izuku's breathing stopped. Kachan. Goku's eyes narrowed. He could save the boy instantly, but then Izuku moved again. The green-haired boy launched himself forward, pushing through the crowd with no strength except desperation. Hey! A police officer shouted. Kid, stop! Izuku did not stop. His notebook pages tore loose behind him as he ran. Goku's eyes widened slightly. He remembered Gohan throwing himself into danger as a child. He remembered Videl refusing to quit even when she was outmatched. He remembered himself as a boy, chasing strength without understanding fear the way others did. But Izuku understood fear. That was what made it different. Izuku was terrified, and he ran anyway. Bakugo saw him. His eyes widened in disbelief. Deku? Izuku grabbed at the sludge with his bare hands. He clawed and pulled, trying to free Bakugo's face. I don't know why I'm here, Izuku shouted, tears in his eyes. My legs just moved on their own. The street went silent for half a heartbeat. Goku felt something change, not in power, in meaning. All Might, hidden in the crowd in his weakened form, saw it too. His eyes widened. Izuku, the quirkless boy he had told to give up, was doing what every frozen hero had failed to do. Moving. Trying. Saving. Bakugo coughed, eyes shaking with anger and confusion. Why are you here? You can't do anything. I know, Izuku screamed, but you looked like you needed saving. The Sludge Villain roared. A thick arm of slime rose above Izuku. Goku's expression hardened. Enough. He stepped forward. The ground cracked lightly under his foot. A pressure rolled through the street. Not destructive, controlled. Every hero turned at once. The Sludge Villain froze. For the first time, it looked afraid. Goku walked past the police line. Hey! His voice was calm. The Sludge Villain's eyes shifted toward him. You again, it gurgled. Goku stopped a few steps away from Izuku and Bakugo. You're hurting those kids. The villain laughed, though the sound shook. What are you supposed to be? Another hero? Goku's eyes darkened. No. The air around him became still. I'm just someone who doesn't like bullies. The villain lunged. Goku moved one hand. Not a punch. Not a blast. Just a short wave of his palm. A wall of air slammed into the Sludge Villain with surgical precision, peeling its body away from Izuku and Bakugo without harming either boy. The sludge splattered across the street in several heavy sections. Before it could reform, Goku lifted 2 fingers. A faint white-blue light gathered at his fingertips. Izuku stared. That was not a quirk. It did not feel like a quirk. Even the heroes felt it. Something pure, focused, internal. Goku pointed downward. Stay. A ring of ki pressed around the scattered sludge like invisible gravity, pinning it to the pavement. The villain struggled. It could not move. Bakugo fell to his knees, coughing violently. Izuku fell beside him. Goku lowered his hand. The street stayed silent. Then All Might moved. His body swelled with smoke and force, muscle returning through sheer will. He burst from the crowd in hero form, face blazing with guilt and resolve. Detroit? Goku glanced at him. All Might's fist pulled back. Smash! The punch did not hit the boys. It did not hit civilians. It struck the air with heroic precision, creating a wind blast that scattered the remaining sludge upward, while Goku's ki pressure held it in place just enough for the police containment gear to capture it fully. The sky changed. The wind from All Might's punch cleared the smoke and clouds above the street. Sunlight poured down. The crowd erupted. All Might! He saved them. Who was that guy in orange? Was that a new pro hero? What kind of quirk was that? Izuku was still on the ground, shaking. Bakugo pushed himself up, furious and humiliated. I didn't need saving, Bakugo snapped, though his voice cracked from exhaustion. Izuku looked down. I know. Goku looked at Bakugo. You did. Bakugo froze. His eyes snapped toward Goku. What did you say? Goku's face remained calm. You needed saving. That's not weakness. It just means someone got there when you couldn't move. Bakugo's hands sparked. You don't know anything. Goku smiled faintly. I know a lot about stubborn guys who hate being helped. For some reason, that made Bakugo angrier. But before he could shout back, the pro heroes moved in. Police secured the villain. Reporters crowded closer. The students were pulled aside. Goku stepped back, trying not to become the center of everything. Too late. Every professional hero in the area had noticed him. So had All Might. The symbol of peace stared at Goku with a look that mixed gratitude, confusion, and alarm. Goku met his eyes. For a moment, neither spoke. Then All Might looked at Izuku. His expression changed. Guilt struck him like a physical blow. He had told that boy he could not be a hero, then watched him act more heroic than anyone else on the street. Later, after the police questioning became too loud and too confused, Goku slipped away. Izuku found himself walking alone under the evening sky, still dirty, still shaking, still unable to understand what had happened. He had been scolded. The pro heroes had yelled at him for rushing in. They had told him he could have made things worse. They had told him he had no training. They had told him he was reckless. They were right. But it still hurt. Because for 1 second, he had thought maybe what he did mattered. Then reality came back. A voice spoke from above. You okay? Izuku yelped and jumped backward. Goku was sitting on top of a wall beside the sidewalk, one knee raised, relaxed as if appearing from nowhere was normal. You, Goku waved. Izuku looked around. How do you keep doing that? Practice. That doesn't explain anything. Goku hopped down. Izuku took a step back, then stopped. This man had saved him, saved Bakugo. And before that, he had heard All Might's answer. Izuku's face tightened. Are you going to scold me too? Goku looked surprised. Scold you? For running in. Everyone else did. Goku crossed his arms and thought about it seriously. You were reckless. Izuku flinched. You could have died. Izuku looked down. You didn't have a plan. His shoulders sank further, and you were scared. Izuku closed his eyes. Then Goku said, but you still moved. Izuku opened his eyes. Goku smiled. That part was good. Izuku stared at him. No one had said that. Not one person. You think so? Yeah. Goku looked toward the street where the attack had happened. You need training. A lot of it. Your body is weak, your breathing got messy, and you ran straight in without thinking about how to pull your friend out. Izuku winced. But the first step? Goku tapped his own chest. That was already there. Izuku's mouth opened slightly. For a moment, he could not speak. Then he whispered, but I'm quirkless. Goku tilted his head. That word again. Izuku blinked. You don't know what quirkless means? Nope, you really aren't from here. Goku grinned awkwardly. Yeah, about that. Izuku's analytical brain began to turn back on. A quirk is a superhuman ability. Most people have one. It can be physical, emitter type, transformation type, anything. Some people can create explosions, control gravity, harden their skin, produce fire, stretch their bodies. There are thousands of variations. But some people are born without one. He swallowed. I'm one of them. Goku listened carefully. Izuku continued, voice quieter. In this society, being quirkless means you usually can't become a pro hero. You can still be a police officer or work in support or analysis, but the hero course is built around quirk usage. Combat, rescue, mobility, defense, everything. Goku's face became serious. So, because you weren't born with one of these quirk things, people decided your dream was impossible? Izuku hesitated. It's not that simple. Heroes fight villains with dangerous abilities. If I don't have a quirk, I'd be a liability. Goku looked away. For a second, Izuku saw something rare on his face. Anger. Not loud anger, controlled anger. The kind someone holds back because they know they could break something if they let it out. Goku closed his eyes. He breathed in, then out. The air calmed. When I was little, Goku said, I wasn't strong because of a quirk. I didn't even know what that was. I trained. My first teacher was my grandpa. Then Master Roshi. He taught me that the body can grow way past what people think if you train it right. Izuku stared. Train? Past human limits? Goku nodded. Then later I learned from lots of masters. King Kai taught me better ki control. Kami helped me understand discipline. Whis taught me how much movement matters before thought. And my son Gohan taught someone named Videl how to use ki, even though she was human. Ki? Goku lifted one hand. A tiny glow appeared above his palm. Soft. White blue. Warm. Warm. Izuku's eyes became enormous. That's not a quirk activation pattern. Goku smiled. This is ki. Life energy. Everyone has it. Most people just don't know how to use it. Izuku leaned closer, forgetting fear for a second. Everyone? Yeah, even quirkless people? Goku's smile faded into something gentler. Especially someone like you if you're willing to train. Izuku stopped breathing. For years, his world had been divided into people with power and people without it. But this stranger was saying there was another system entirely. Not a quirk. Not inherited. Not luck. Training. Izuku's hands shook. Are you saying I could learn that? Goku looked at him for a long moment. Then he nodded. If you don't quit. Izuku's eyes filled with tears so fast he tried to wipe them away. I won't. Goku pointed at him. Don't answer too fast. Training isn't just wanting it. It hurts. It's boring sometimes. You'll fail a lot. You'll have to make your body stronger before I teach you anything dangerous. And if you use power just to prove people wrong, you'll mess yourself up. Izuku nodded rapidly. I understand. No, you don't. Izuku froze. Goku's voice stayed kind, but firm. You will later. Izuku lowered his head. Oh, okay. Goku crouched again and looked him in the eye. Power level isn't just a number. It's how much force your body, mind, and spirit can handle without falling apart. Some people have huge power but bad control. Some have small power but good hearts. The best fighters grow both. Izuku whispered, power level, in my world, people can get strong enough to break planets. Izuku stared, then laughed nervously. That's a joke, right? Goku did not answer. Izuku's laugh died. Oh, Goku continued, but here's the important part. If your power gets bigger than your control, you become dangerous. To enemies, to friends, to yourself. So before power, you learn balance. Izuku gripped his notebook. Balance? Goku stood. You want to save people? Izuku nodded. Even if people say you can't? Another nod. Even if your body hurts? Yes. Even if you're scared? Izuku remembered the Sludge Villain, Bakugo's trapped face, his own useless hands clawing at slime. He clenched his fists. Yes, Goku smiled. Then I'll train you. Izuku went completely still. The words did not enter his brain properly. You'll... what? I'll train you. You'll train me? Yeah. In ki? Eventually. Eventually? Goku grinned. First, running. Izuku blinked. Running and carrying stuff and breathing and learning how not to panic when someone stronger than you attacks. Izuku's face shifted from awe to terror. How long would that take? Goku thought about it. Depends how hard you work. Izuku straightened. I'll work harder than anyone. Goku's eyes brightened. That's good. Then his stomach growled loudly. Izuku froze. Goku looked down at his stomach. Also, do you know where to get food? Izuku stared at him. Then, despite everything, he laughed. For the first time that day, it was real. Several blocks away, All Might stood in an alley. His hero form had vanished again. His thin body leaned against the wall, one hand pressed against his side. Blood touched his lips. He had followed from a distance, but he had not approached. Not yet. He had heard enough. The boy had met the stranger in orange. The stranger had not mocked him, had not dismissed him, had not told him reality was a locked door. All Might closed his eyes. The image of Izuku running toward the Sludge Villain replayed in his mind again and again. My legs moved on their own. All Might's hand curled into a fist. That was the essence. That was the thing every true hero had. Not power first, action first, heart first, and All Might had nearly crushed it. He looked up at the darkening sky. What have I done? The guilt sat heavy in his chest, but underneath it something else stirred. A decision. He needed to speak to the boy again. He needed to know who that orange-clad stranger was. And most of all, he needed to understand the strange energy that had held the villain down without a quirk. All Might wiped the blood from his mouth. Midoriya, young man? His voice was quiet. I may have been wrong. Above the city, clouds drifted slowly across the evening sun, and somewhere below them, Izuku Midoriya's impossible training had already begun.